if you think we're on the run. We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you think again. 'Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done? Mr. Brown goes off to town on the A21, but he comes home each evening and he's ready with his gun. So who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done?
Aren't you feeling very well, Uncle Arthur?
Right, I've got a slight headache, that's all.
Oh.
Frank, do you really have to make all that noise?
I've got to make up the ledgers, haven't I?
I know, yes.
You know how fussy Mr. Manring is?
Yes, I know, but couldn't you please do it just a little bit more quietly? Use another nib or something.
It's the only nib I've got. They're very difficult to get, you know. There is a war on.
Yes, all right.
Anyway, if you've got an headache, it's your own fault. By the time we finish supper, it's always so late, you never leave our house until after I've gone to bed. And then you're back early for breakfast in the morning before I'm awake.
Well, you know, Frank, I always come round to your house for meals because your mother has my ration book.
Yeah, well, what I can't understand is I never hear you leave and I never hear you come back in the morning.
Yes, well, you see, I let myself in and out very quietly.
You never do anything else quietly.
Frank, would you please stop? Just stop it, will you? Stop.
Do you know your trouble, Uncle Arthur? You don't get enough sleep. Well, tonight I'm going to make sure you leave our house before I go to bed, even if I have to push you out the door myself. I'm sorry, but it's for your own good.
Morning, Wilson. Pike.
Morning, sir. Morning. Oh, what have you got there, sir?
A new door for my office.
Oh, really? How lovely.
Do you realise, Wilson, it's 3 months now since the bank was bombed, and I don't know how many times I've applied for a new door. Confounded red tape. Get down, Pike. Pike, get down. Get down. Have you got my nameplate?
Yes, Miss Henry, here. There.
Look at this, Wilson. My name in glittering gold letters.
Oh.
Can't wait to put it in its rightful place. On the door of my office.
Yes, well, it is rather a plain door, isn't it?
Oh, that isn't the actual door.
Oh.
The door's inside. They probably put that case on to protect the paneling.
Oh, I see, yes. Oh.
I mean, they wouldn't give me, manager of the bank, a plywood door. Do use your intelligence sometimes, Wilson. Right, take the paper off.
What paper? This is the door.
This is made of paper.
That's right. Tar paper, to be exact. Standard government issue to replace doors in bombed offices.
I can't screw my nameplate onto a paper door.
You could stick it on.
Boy, be quiet. Get back to the counter. This is monstrous. I shall complain to head office.
Oh, don't go on at me like that, mate. Now, do you want us to put this thing up or not?
Oh, very well, yes. Get on with it.
Right.
How can I interview important clients in an office with a paper door?
Well, they use paper doors in Japan.
What's that got to do with it?
I really no idea.
Now, how can anybody knock on it?
Well, you could put up a little notice saying, don't knock, cough.
I'm not having people coughing and spluttering outside my door. Just a minute. Got holes in it. What are these holes?
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll fix that. Got any stamp paper?
Oh, yes, sure, hang on. Yeah.
Tar. There we are. Good as new, eh?
You can't have white spots all over the door.
You're a fussy little fella, aren't you? That suit?
Come in the office, Wilson.
All right, sir.
I must speak to those cleaning ladies.
Yes.
Stanley. Stanley. The Colonel's outside like a word with you.
Tell him I shan't be a minute.
Yes, sir.
And while we're on the subject of tidiness, it's about time you had a haircut.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I'm afraid I never seem to be able to get around to it.
I know you think you look like Anthony Eden. But you have to be my chief clerk and my sergeant.
Good heavens, look.
Oh, morning, Mannering.
You set fire to my door.
Oh, dear.
Excuse me, just a minute. Make way.
Well done, Frank.
That was very quick thinking, young man.
Thank you, sir.
What about the hole in my door?
Stick a bit of paper over it.
Shall I get a stamp book?
Get out, boy. Come and sit down, Colonel.
Sorry to barge in like this, but I've got some bad news. It's about Godfrey.
About Godfrey? Oh, dear. Hope you're not going to say that he can't stay with the platoon. I know Godfrey's getting on, but he's very useful to us. And he's become a sort of father figure for the younger ones to lean on.
Yeah, as long as they don't lean on him too heavily.
I mean emotionally. You know, when the bullets start flying, you won't find Godfrey throwing himself into a funk hole.
Certainly not quickly. No, I mean, not with his rheumatics.
Now, don't worry, it's nothing to do with his being in the Home Guard. He lives at Cherry Tree Cottage, doesn't he?
That's right, yes.
Yes, of course, yes. A lovely old place, yes. A cottage with a thatched roof, a white fence, and hollyhocks and roses growing in the garden. You know, it really does look like a picture of a chocolate box. You know, whenever I pass by there, I have to stop and I say to myself, well, that's it, I suppose, but that's what we're fighting for.
I couldn't have put it better myself, Wilson.
Well, it is what we're fighting for. But it's got to come down.
What?
Calm down.
Yes, a new aerodrome's being built, and Godfrey's cottage is right in the middle of it.
Well, can nothing be done about it?
No, I'm afraid not. It's vital for the war effort. He'll get compensation, of course. But I thought it better that you told him yourself, so that he won't get such a shock when he gets the official notice. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Cheerio.
Rise up. Yes.
What are we going to do about Godfrey?
Yeah, poor old thing, yes. Yes, he's been living in that cottage with his two sisters for donkey's years.
I know. I can't possibly tell him. Look, we'd better get Fraser and Jones over here, I think. Pike! Pike!
Come in. I can't get in. Hang on, had an idea.
How dare you put your arm through my door?
Sorry, but the handle had come off.
You've torn it!
Well, it's not my fault if they give a rotten door with the handles that come off, is it?
Don't use that tone of voice to me, boy. Now, run across the road, get hold of Mr. Jones, Mr. Fraser, and get them over here at the double.
Yes, sir.
Right. Look at that door. It's only been up a few minutes. It's already in ruins.
Mr. Henry.
Yes?
Mr. Jones is in the bank. He's paying in his takings.
Very well. Ask him to come in and then go and get Mr. Fraser.
Yes, sir.
Wish we could do something for Godfrey. I feel very deeply about this, you know, Wilson, very deep.
Why don't you lend him some money so he could possibly buy another cottage?
Well, I don't want my personal feelings to get mixed up with my position in the bank.
Manred, you want to see me?
Yes, please. Jules, just a minute. Just a moment. I'll help you in.
Yeah.
Oh. Cheap rubbish. The handle's come off.
Oh, never mind, so put my shoulder to it.
Oh, no, don't do that. It's only made of paper. situation in a nutshell. Godfrey's cottage has to come down, and the Colonel has asked me to tell him.
At his age, the shock could very easily kill him. And you'll be responsible. Do you understand, Mr. Mannering? You will be responsible.
Yes, all right, Fraser.
Mannering, why don't we move Mr. Godfrey's cottage?
Move it?
Yeah, we could take it to bits and put it up somewhere else. It'd be all right. Just have to number all the bricks and tiles.
The roof's covered with thatch. He couldn't number that.
Well, we could cut it up into slices and roll it up. Couldn't do it on a windy day, of course.
No, I think you're getting into the realms of fantasy again here, Jones.
No, he's not, Mr. Mannering, no.
What?
In that film, Ghost Goes West, Robert Donat and Jean Arthur. Well, there was this American millionaire, you see, and he took a whole castle all the way from Scotland to California.
See who that is, please, Wilson.
Right.
I saw that film. Rubbish! Their kilts hung too far below their Sassenach knees.
Yes, Martin's back, yes. What? Oh, Raymond, yes. Just a minute. Excuse me, sir. Jonesy, your boy Raymond says, would you please hurry up, as the offer queue is getting rather impatient.
Well, tell him I shan't be long.
All right. He says he won't be very long.
Look,
All right.
please, could we get on, Jones, Fraser?
All right. I'll tell him. Goodbye. Excuse me, sir. Jonesy, your boy Raymond says that Fraser's boy Heathcliff has told him to move the offer queue away from the front of Fraser's shop.
Is this true, Mr. Fraser?
Aye. I told them to get them shifted.
How dare you interfere with my awful queue?
There's no right. No right at all to queue up in front of my shop. I don't want a lot of old women gawping into my window, arguing about their points.
Now, look here. My awful queue doesn't want to look in your rotten window. You've only got an old iron urn and a bit of old velvet in it.
My window's better than yours. All it's got in it is a couple of plaster pigs with comic expressions on their faces.
My fault I can't get any meat.
Look, please, I know we're all very busy, but will you just give me 2 minutes of your attention? Now, the Colonel has asked me to tell Godfrey, and I think, that is, that we think, Sam Wilson and I, that perhaps you, Jones, or you, Fraser, might be better telling him. After all, I mean, you are his contemporaries.
You mean you're trying to wriggle out of it?
That's not fair. I'd have you know that Captain Mannering is not only a bank manager, he's also our commanding officer and a gentleman. And furthermore, just a minute, and plaster pigs have not got comic expressions on their faces. They've got happy laughing faces.
Please,
Don't try to... Sorry,
be quiet,
sorry,
be quiet.
sorry.
It's no good, Wilson. You and I are just going to have to go up to Godfrey's cottage tomorrow afternoon and tell him straight. Right. You better come with us, Pike.
Yes, sir.
We must grasp the nettle.
Mr. Mannering, Mr. Godfrey's garden hasn't got any nettles. He's very proud of it.
Line all the way, leading from the Rose and Crown, from Trafalgar Square.
Now, I don't know how to do this, Wilson. We must pick exactly the right time to tell Godfrey.
Well, how will he know when the right time is?
You know, in that film, Dangerous Moonlight, Anton Walbrook had to tell his girlfriend he was leaving Poland forever. So he played the piano to her to keep her mind off it.
Yeah.
Uncle Arthur could do that. He plays the piano ever so well.
Oh, look, sir. What lovely flowers.
Mr. Mannering, Mr. Wilson, Frank.
Hello, Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Mannering's got something to tell you.
Godfrey, we're just passing. Thought we'd drop in and say hello.
How awfully nice of you. You're just in time to join us at tea. Dolly, Sissy, look who's come to tea.
Isn't that nice to see if Mr. Mannering and his friends? Ooh. Let's get some more chairs, Dolly. Yes, more chairs.
What were you going to tell me, Mr. Mannering?
Oh, I was just going to say I've never seen such lovely roses in my life.
They are lovely, aren't they? You know, this rose bush was planted by my father over 50 years ago.
Really?
Tell him quickly and then we'll go.
tea.
Look at that. Perfect picture, isn't it? You know, I often say to my sisters, it doesn't matter what Hitler does, this cottage with its garden and the lovely roses will always be here. It's what we're fighting for, isn't it? Come along.
Mary, going to tell him now or during tea?
During tea.
Will you sit here, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, how pretty the table looks.
Mr. Manring, shall I sit next to Mr. Godfrey in case he faints when you tell him?
Quiet boy.
A milk, everybody?
I do hope you like this tea. It's made from water from our well, you know. That's what gives it a special taste. Tuck in, Frank.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Godfrey.
Bread and butter, Mr. Mannering?
No, thank you, I'm not hungry.
Oh, you must have one of my upside-down cakes, Mr. Mannering.
Oh, very well. Thank you.
You know, this bread and raspberry jam looks absolutely delicious.
I bake the bread in our old brick oven. That's what gives it that lovely, crusty taste. And I make the jam from our own raspberries.
You know, we're almost self-sufficient here. This cottage and garden give us everything we need.
Mr. Manring, during tea, you going to tell him now?
After tea.
You know, it's awfully nice the way the sun brings out the colour on that wall.
Yes, the whole place has a sense of permanence. My sisters and I often say this cottage stands for England.
Mr. Manring, it's after tea. You can't wait much longer. You've got to tell him now.
You're right, Pike. The point is, Godfrey, that Wilson has something to say to you.
I can't.
Get on with it. It's an order.
Yes, Mr. Wilson?
Well, do you think I could have another upside-down cake? Thank you so much.
You know your trouble, Wilson. You've got no guts.
It wasn't my fault, sir.
I made everything perfectly simple for you. And all you could say was, I want another upside-down.
I wanted another upside-down cake.
Look out, you stupid boy.
Mr. Manning was very complimentary to me, you know. He asked my advice. He went round to Mr. Godfrey's cottage on Saturday afternoon to tell him, but because Mr. Godfrey's two sisters are there, he thought the shock would be too much for him. Well, I agreed with him, of course. I said Godfrey should be completely alone when we tell him.
We?
Pardon?
When we tell him?
Yes, yes. He was very grateful, of course, for my advice, and he said he'd give us a couple of moments alone, and then he'd send out Mr. Godfrey with the tea.
Man, oh, man. Have you not got the sense to see that Mannering has left you and me holding the baby?
No, that's not fair. It's because you and I are the most senior members of the platoon. He said it would be more tasty for us to tell him. Here, you will back me up, won't you?
Ah, all right. I'll manoeuvre the conversation round it for you.
That's right, you do that. Oh, hello, Mr. Godfrey. And what brings you out here?
Mr. Manning thought you might like a nice hot cup of tea, so I brought one out personally.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, we'll put it down on the seat, please. Now, listen, we've got to get this over and done with quickly. So start manoeuvring the conversation round.
Godfrey, son, Jones here's got some bad news for you. Well, how's that, eh? Well, my turn to patrol down to the end of the promenade.
Yeah, don't leave me, Jock.
Sure, I don't, man, oh, man. The war comes first.
Don't you want a cup of tea?
No, I'll drink it when I get back. Well, cheerio then, lads, cheerio.
What's the bad news, Mr. Jones?
What? Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. Let's sit down and have a nice cup of tea, shall we?
Yes.
Yes. That's right. Thank you. Oh, well, the cup that cheers, eh? Now, look here, Godfrey. In times like these, we are fighting for our lives, for our very existence even. And we have to make sacrifices. I mean, even Mr. Mannering, he has to make sacrifices. And what a fine man he is. I'd put my right hand in the fire for him any time. When I say in the fire, I don't mean in the real fire, you know. I mean, it wouldn't help Mr. Mannering if I went round putting my hand in people's real fires, you know, would it? No. No, I mean, I'm talking metaphorically, see? What was I talking about? I lost the thread.
About the sacrifice Mr. Mannering's making.
Yes, and so he is. He's got a paper door. Imagine a man of Mr. Mannering's status sitting in an office with a paper door. And what's worse, I tore it. Well, it's the same with houses. You know, if a man was to come down from high government circles to me and say, you know, in a nonchalant manner, and then say to me, I've got to knock your house down for the war effort, I'd have to let him do it.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. So they're going to knock yours down as well?
No, they're not going to knock mine down. What do you mean, as well?
As well as my place.
You know, then?
Oh yes, we had official information yesterday. I meant to speak to Mr. Mannering about it. I didn't want to upset him.
Godfrey, what are you going to do?
Oh, it's all right. We shall manage. Dolly and Cissy will stay with friends. We'll put our furniture in store.
Yeah, but where will you go?
Oh, I'll find a room somewhere.
You'll do no such thing. You'll come and stay with me.
Oh, no. I couldn't do that.
Of course you could. I'll be glad of your company. We'll get on wonderfully well. Wonderfully well. And after parade, we'll go home. We can have a nice glass of stout each.
I'm afraid I don't care for stout.
Don't you? Well, you could have something else to drink, couldn't you? Anyway, we could have cheese on toast.
Toasted cheese always gives me shocking indigestion.
Well, we could listen to the wireless. You do like listening to the wireless, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah, well, we could listen to the Forces programme. Have a good laugh. I like the Forces programme.
I always listen to the whole service.
Well, we could listen to that. We'll be all right, you see.
T-R-U. Hello, operator. I want a trunk call to London, if you please. London. Hello. Is that Sir Charles?
Yes?
The Sir Charles Renfrew McAllister?
Speaking.
My name's Fraser. James Fraser.
What the hell do you think you're doing ringing me up in the middle of the night?
It's quiet and peaceful. And it's cheaper.
What do you want?
Tell me, are you the minister in charge of building this new aerodrome at Warmington-on-Sea?
Oh, now look. If you're after a building contract, there's nothing doing.
Oh, no. It's not that.
Well, what do you want then?
I just want you to shift to the aerodrome a wee bit.
Are you out of your mind?
Sir Charles, I was reading in the papers the other day about your recent knighthood, and it went on to say that you come from a very fine old Scottish family that can trace their origins way back to Robert the Bruce.
You haven't woken me up to discuss my ancestors.
No, I've woken me up to ask you this. Could you possibly be the laddie with the same name whose father kept a fish and chip shop in that grand old Isle of Barra? Who was expelled from school for cheating? Who got that bonny wee thing, Maisie Mackintosh, into trouble? And who got the sack from the draper's shop for getting his fingers caught in the till? That wouldn't be you, would it?
Certainly not.
Oh, that's all right then. In that case, you won't mind me giving the whole story to a certain society magazine, will ye? Good. It just so happens I have got their phone number right here in front of me. Charlie boy.
Look at poor old Mr. Godfrey and his sisters. I don't half feel sorry for them.
The war can be very cruel, you know, Pikey.
Now, sir, we've nearly finished the loading.
Thank you, Wilson. This is a sad day. I wrote a letter to the minister in charge of building the airfield, pointing out all the facts, and I never even got a reply. We're all in the hands of petty bureaucrats, Wilson. Faceless men.
Here, don't load any more on my van. You'll break the back axle. Mr. Mannering told me to put it in. And I'm telling you to take it out. You stupid, soppy-looking boy. Don't you call me a stupid, soppy-looking boy. I'm going to have a word with Mannering about you. Napoleon, my van won't take any more, and I want my money now.
The arrangement was that you would be paid £2 out of platoon funds when the job was finished.
I want my £2 now. Shoot him, Mr. Mannering. Oh, you're entitled to.
Right.
Hold on, Mr. Mannering, hold on.
What is it, Fraser?
This is Mr. Blackwell from the town hall. They're going to move the aerodrome.
Then poor old Mr. Godfrey won't have to leave his home after all.
This is good news.
Yeah, and I'll be able to listen to the Forces programme. I'm going to tell Mr. Godfrey.
The whole aerodrome 200 yards further north.
Ah, so Godfrey's cottage won't be in the middle.
No, just on the edge.
Right. Unload the van, men.
Here, just a minute. What about my £2?
The arrangement was that you'd be paid when the job was done, and the job has not been done.
You chiseler. I want my £2.
You mind not raising your voice?
I want my money!
Come away, Wilson.
Right. Nice, isn't it, sir? A bit different to the last time we had tea with you, Godfrey. You remember? Mr. Mannering was wondering how to break the news to you.
Yes, indeed. It must have been my letter to the minister that did it, of course.
No doubt about it. Mr. Mannering, no doubt at all.
What was his name?
Sir Charles Renfrew McAllister. Fine man. They say he could trace his ancestors back to Robert the Bruce.
We're very, very grateful to you, Mr. Mannering. If it hadn't been for you, our peaceful little world would have come to an end.
Thank you.